T-minus 6 minutes.
Of T-minus 6 minutes, everything's looking go for an on-time launch. Let's take a look, though, in a little more detail at our readiness, which is planned, as I said, just over 5.5 minutes from now. On the Falcon 9, we did the readiness poll at T-minus 35 minutes and began loading liquid oxygen and RP-1 fuel into the rocket. Propellant loading is continuing, and it appears that we have enough time in this countdown to get the liquid oxygen fully loaded and at the cold temperatures that we require for flight. Currently, the RP-1 kerosene fuel has completed loading on both the first and the second stage engines. Now we're in the launch auto sequence. This is where the ground and the flight computers jointly control the last commands. It's that ballet, that tightly synchronized dance between the two sets of computers to make sure the Falcon 9 and the ground systems are ready for launch at T0. Now, as I discussed in the last webcast, we're trying to do the testing as close to launch as we can to make sure everything's ready to go close to T0. So currently we've begun the chill-in sequence for the Merlin engines. Liquid oxygen is flowing through the turbopumps, getting the Merlins ready for ignition just before T0. We'll also be checking throttle valves, thrust vector control, actuators, everything that we can to make sure that we're ready to go. That'll finish right at T0 when the Falcon flight computer tells the ground to release the rocket once it's checked that we're at full power. Now currently we're coming up on transfer to internal power on the Falcon rocket, going to the batteries from the ground power. We'll begin opening up the clamp around the second stage at T-minus 4.5 minutes and begin retracting the strongback, something that you ought to be able to see moving at around 3 minutes. The spacecraft is on internal power. Boeing and the SES team are go for launch. The range is ready for launch. And the weather, we've been looking at upper altitude winds all day, but the good news is the latest balloon shows that we're good both at ground level and upper altitude winds. So range, weather, spacecraft, and the Falcon 9 are go at T-minus 3.5 minutes.
FTS, confirm you're on internal power. FTS, countdown net.
FTS is on internal power.
Confirm FTS is armed.
FTS is armed and ready for launch.
Stage 1 LOX load closed out.
GNC verifies stage 2 TVC motion nominal.
TVC motion nominal.
Strongback fully retracted.
M1D and MVAC are chilled for flight.
Stage 2 LOX load closed out.
T-minus 2 minutes.
Hold. This is MIFCO on channel 1 with a hold to the range safety.
Fouled range. Fouled range, RC on countdown 1.
Okay, proceeding to the launch abort section, 10.64. VC verify the flight computer is not in startup.
Flight computer is not in startup.
OSM verify radio safety FTS and report.
Radio safety FTS.
OSM set launch unable to inhibit.
We're inhibited.
GC verify stage 1 and stage 2 LOX interface field manifolds are vented,
Vented.
and RP also.
Vented.
GC verify water and deluge ring pressurization valve secured.
Copy. Secured.
Verify launch mount and hold down cooling is secured.
Verified. Secured.
Verified TVC tank is vented.
Verified.
GC secured T-tap per step 64.9.
Headquarters in Hawthorne. You heard at T-minus 1 minute and 33 seconds the whole.
OSM verified nominal FTS state
That
and
was
report.
range safety
Ohio is our
following
safe
the
state.
hold
Break
for
orders,
the
please disarm
call
FTS on
range.
external power. FTS is state and safe.
We're going to go back and listen to the countdown
Standing
now
by
a little
until
bit
strong
more,
back is
but just wanted
raised.
to bring you that first update. It was not a Falcon 9 issue. Our ground system had loaded the propellant onto the first stage and the second stage. We were getting ready to go to the startup sequence at T-minus 1 minute when the range called a hold. So let's go back and listen to countdown 1 for a minute.
LC, ready to raise strong back.
Ready. OSM, verify hold fire is removed.
Whole fire is removed.
GC, verify T-tap is secured.
Verified.
John Isberger again with an update from the Falcon 9 launch desk here in Hawthorne. As you can see on the webcast, T-minus 1 minute 33 seconds. We're holding for what they have as an issue with the range. There are some reports that it appears there may be a ship within the keep-out zone of the range. We're waiting for confirmation of that, so take that with a grain of salt. Right now, you've been listening to Countdown 1, where the SpaceX team has been safing the Falcon 9. We have not scrubbed for the moment. We're going to continue listening to Countdown 1, see if there's an opportunity to possibly recycle the launch this evening.
Hydraulic
So we'll be
strong
back
back
in
raise
about
is
5
complete.
minutes with an update, but we're going to listen in, along with you, to the webcast on Countdown Net 1 to see where we're going with this evening's launch attempt.
ABI, are you on external power? Stage 1 and Stage 2.
AVI is trickle charging currently.
So you're on internal power.
We are on internal power. The batteries are not loaded.
Copy. AVI, instruct VC to cycle power on transmitters to keep the temperatures within launch limits.
Copy, Wilco LC.
Well, we're giving you an update right now from the webcast desk here in Hawthorne, SpaceX headquarters. Not much to add for the moment. The SpaceX team continues to hold the Falcon 9, keeping it in a safe position. We have not scrubbed the launch. We've recycled the countdown clock. You can see it reading T-minus 10 minutes and 42 seconds and holding. We pretty much just backed up to a position just beyond 10 minutes before liftoff, when a lot of that integrated sequence between the Falcon 9 flight computers and the ground computers kicks off that I talked about earlier in the webcast. So right now the team is going through looking at Falcon 9 telemetry, looking at what the limits need to be at liftoff, making some adjustments in case we have an opportunity to try another launch attempt this evening. Now, one word about the range safety. The Eastern Range, headquartered out there at Cape Canaveral, Patrick Air Force Base, they provide safety memos to the community in the same way that we notify airlines to avoid certain areas at launch. We also notify the mariners, the seagoing community, areas to avoid. So in this case, we have to avoid for several minutes before launch until several minutes after launch areas underneath the Falcon 9 as it heads into space. At the same time, because we're doing a first stage recovery, we also warn the mariner traffic out at sea about the first stage coming down to the drone ship about 600 kilometers offshore of Florida out in the Atlantic Ocean. It's not clear, I have not heard yet, which of those areas has the issue. It does sound like there is a ship in the keep-out zone. I just don't know for the moment whether it's the keep-out zone under the rocket as it heads to space or near the first stage as it comes back. But those keep-out zones are fairly narrow in time. We don't block out for hours and hours. It's just for several minutes right before launch until several minutes after launch when all the significant events are complete. So we're going to continue to monitor Countdown 1, wait for some more definitive word on what we'll do with the Falcon 9, whether we've got another launch attempt this evening or if we will have to recycle and try on another day. Currently, T-minus 10 minutes and 42 seconds and holding. This is the Falcon 9 webcast desk in Hawthorne, California.
Was that for LC on Countdown Net? Okay, setting the liftoff time for 001900 UTC, February 29th. Resetting the T clock or liftoff time to 002100.
Welcome back.
T
at
minus
the
11
SpaceX,
minutes, 37
Falcon
seconds and
9
counting.
Webcast desk. The clock right now is set at 11 minutes and 33 seconds and counting to launch. We're attempting a launch window at 19 minutes after the hour. So as you see on the webcast, just 11 and a half minutes from now. We're going to listen to Countdown 1 as we go through the last 11 minutes of the count. The team is continuing to assess. They believe their last opportunity is in 11 minutes, but they're going to allow the count to continue and continue working this as close to T0 as possible.
LSM set launch and able to
waiting
flight.
for the range to give us the okay to clear.
We're in flight.
Once they make
Mission
sure
manager
that the
confirmed
ship
spacecraft is on internal power.
Not in danger.
Spacecraft is on
offshore
internal.
in the liftoff area. So let's listen to the countdown at T minus 10 minutes and 50 seconds, and we'll come back with more information as we hear it and as you hear it. One quick update as you're watching the countdown clock at T minus 9 minutes and 20 seconds. The new T0 has just been updated to 21 minutes after the hour. So we're going to continue to listen in as we try to be able to hit the last opportunity to launch this evening. So let's listen in to Countdown 1.
T minus 9 minutes. FTS, announce you're on internal power. FTS, are you on internal power?
FTS is in internal power.
Are you armed?
FTS is armed.
Stage 2 TVC, motion nominal, confirm. GNC, countdown net.
Go.
GNC, countdown net.
TVC motion is nominal.
Come in. TVC nominal.
LD, verify go for launch.
LD is go for launch. Range is green.
Structures global. BC, verify F9 is in startup.
F9's in startup.
T-minus 30. T-minus 20. T-minus 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, we have launch abort. Proceeding to the abort section. BC countdown net.
Go ahead.
Verify launch auto sequence is aborted and the flight computer is not in startup.
Launch auto sequence is aborted.
GC, reactivate fire exit present on the launch mount.
Copy.
OSM, verify ready to safety FTS and report.
Ready to safety FTS.
OSM, set launch and able to inhibit.
Inhibit.
GC, verify stage 1 and stage 2 locks and RP interface fill manifolds are vented.
Verified.
Verify water secured, water and deluge ring pressurization valves, verify rainbird secured, and verify launch mount and hold down coolings are secured.
All secured.
Verify TVC tank is vented.
Verified.
Secure T-tap per step 64.9.
In work.
OSM, verify nominal FTS state and report.
OIs are in safe state. Brake wires are disarmed. FTS is on external power. FTS state is safe.
Copy, standing by until the strong back raise is complete.
LC, ready for raising strong back?
Ready.
Webcast headquarters in Hawthorne. As you saw, we were counting down. We got to just about T0 when we had an abort in the ignition sequence. Now, prior to the abort, the countdown was going well. The range did go green. They were clear within just the last couple of minutes of launch. And so we were attempting to hit a window of 21 minutes after the hour. That was roughly 34 minutes after the planned launch time earlier this evening. Now, currently, the Falcon 9 is
turn
safe.
the throwback cooling on.
This is a sequence that we've gone through, the safing sequence that you heard part of on the countdown net. We use many times in Texas when we test the first stage and the second stage. Also at Cape Canaveral when we static fire the first stage a few days before launch. So that sequence is not unusual. It's well checked out. The team is working through it right now, taking pressure off of the tanks, making sure that the engines are purged, that there's no fires, nothing like that on the launch pad. That'll give them a chance to first safe the vehicle and then take a look at what the cause of the abort was. We have not heard the cause of the abort yet. Obviously, we were in the ignition sequence, so it'll be related undoubtedly to some aspect of that startup sequence when the flight computer commands the 9 engines to start and then checks the configuration of those engines, make sure that all the valves are closed, the valves are open, whatever the requirement is, that we're at the right pressures before the flight computer tells the ground to release it. So that sequence ran as intended. We got a problem. The flight computer declared an abort. We shut down the engines, and the Falcon 9 is safe right now. We're going to go back to the launch pad for just a minute, and then I'll come back and give an update. But obviously for this evening, that is going to be the only launch attempt, but we're waiting to just get that final official word that we're going to be scrubbed for the night. But we'll go back to countdown 1 now, and then I'll come back with a final update, undoubtedly, for the rest of the evening.
Strongback raise auto is complete. AVI, are you still charging batteries?
Yes, batteries are on trickle charge still.
All right, stand by there. AVI, instruct the VC to cycle power on transmitters to keep the temperatures within launch limits.
Copy, Wilco.
Okay, the vehicle is safe. Please stand by while data is reviewed and the path forward is determined.
Well, for those who might be just joining us and for those who've been with us, here's an update on what's been going on out at Cape Canaveral. As you can see, Falcon 9 is vertical. The strongback has come back around the vehicle. The Falcon 9 is safe. We have depressurized the tanks from their planned flight pressures that we do at about T-minus 1 minute. We're currently protecting the vehicle with the erector as we normally do during most of the countdown. The team right now has not scrubbed for the night, but they are evaluating the data. There are several indicators, telemetry samples on the first stage system that they're looking at. So currently they are trying to determine whether or not we would try another launch attempt tonight. If we did, the window will close in approximately 51 minutes, so we've still got some time. Right now, I would have to say it's probably questionable if we're going to get there, but I want to emphasize we have not scrubbed. For the moment, the team has finished the safing steps, and now they're evaluating the data, consulting with the launch team, management back here in Hawthorne to determine what we're going to do next. So we're going to continue to broadcast shot of the pad, let you listen to the countdown net, and I'll come back once we determine what our path is forward. So anyways, right now Falcon 9 is safe. We're looking at what we want to do next. And in the meantime, we'll leave you with the view of the vehicle on the pad.
AVI. GS. You did say we're on data hourly rollover, right? We don't need to. Okay, this is ALC on the countdown net, proceeding into the scrub section. OSM reestablished the BDA roadblocks, LC-40.
Roger and Mark.
Mission Manager, countdown net.
MM.
Step 67.4. Notify the spacecraft controller that launch is being scrubbed for the day.
Will do. I think they're going to want to stay powered on and charge batteries, but we'll deconfigure from flight configuration.
Okay. VC prop and ground on the countdown net.
And
Second stage, and first stage. Two.
Well, good evening from the Falcon 9 webcast desk here in SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. You may have just heard the SpaceX launch conductor come over the net and declare a scrub for the evening. That will end our launch attempts for this evening. We don't have another launch date planned at the moment. We are going to have to continue to evaluate the first stage telemetry that we have when we counted down the rocket, and we held the launch just about T-minus 1 second as we got into the engine ignition sequence. Now, the good news, as I've stressed before, the Falcon 9 is safe. The vehicle went through a standard recovery sequence that we've used many times. Currently now the team will proceed into another standard sequence, which is to detank pressure and gas and liquids off of the stage and get it ready for another launch attempt, while at the same time the engineering team has a chance to take a look at the telemetry, determine what changes, if any, they need to make before we proceed into another launch attempt. The good news in today is that we had a very smooth countdown. Even the weather cooperated at the upper altitudes. We got liquid oxygen and cold RP1 kerosene onto the first and second stage. Everything was looking good. But then at T-minus 1 minute and 37 seconds, we had a hold called by range safety. There was a ship out in the what I call the keep out area underneath the first stage trajectory as it heads miles out over the Atlantic. So we had to stop for that, for the safety of the ship that was out in the Atlantic. We finally got a chance to make a launch attempt at 21 minutes after the hour, but as we got into ignition, we had to hold at just before T0 using our standard alarm sequence that avoids releasing the Falcon 9 until we're really sure that everything is ready to go on the rocket. So the vehicle's safe again. Just to reiterate, we'll take a look at what we need to do, recycle, and please check with us on our social media sites, SpaceX.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and various sites. I know a lot of you follow us along. That'll probably be the first place that you'll see where we announce the new launch date and time for the flight of SES-9 on the Falcon 9 to geostationary transfer orbit. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching tonight on the webcast, and we'll be back with you when we're ready to launch Falcon 9 again. Thanks and good evening.